Today I'm going to tell you guys the story of how I've been fat twice and give you the 20-80-80-20 rule. So I've actually been overweight twice now and lost 30 kilos 2 times. The first time, I had a lot of time on my hands. I was young, I didn't have a girlfriend or a wife at the time, right? I had a side business of personal training before that. I was at uni. I just had some time on my hands to go and learn everything that I wanted and needed to about health and fitness. I put in a lot of hours into going and mastering the craft, and the results paid big dividends. I lost the weight, and then I began to help people with what I'd struggled with, right? The second time round was not when I didn't know what to do. This was actually when I was opening the gym, and this was now 3.5 years ago. And for me, I had a big circumstance change. Now, I've got to be completely responsible for that. I took the actions, I got the result. One of the things that contributed to that was going through a circumstance change. Not having a gym to open before, now having a gym to open, being not extremely busy, working 40 hours a week as just a PT, to now trying to work that same 40 hours and open a gym without any loss of income at the same time. And my health and fitness through that period really suffered, and I put on a whole bunch of weight. I actually got to my heaviest point, which was 116 kilos. And that's right, if you're watching at home, my heaviest point was not at the start, it was actually in the middle. And so for me, right, I kind of knew 2 things then. I'm making this way too complex because I'm trying to hold myself to the old standard when I wasn't so busy. I'm trying to still train 3 hours a day, and I'm trying to still eat a silly amount of calories, right? I'm trying to get my supplement timing and meal timing extremely specific, okay? And what I started to realize when I heard this rule is that it completely applies to health and fitness. This is from the likes of Tim Ferriss, which is typically more applicable to business, but completely applicable to health and fitness as well. The rule states that 20% of your actions right now are producing 80% of your results. And this was very true when I started to lose the weight the next time. Like I said, this wasn't when I didn't know what to do. This is when I was a personal trainer for 2 years, right? I understood the ins and outs of it. I just got fat again. 20% of your actions will produce 80% of your results. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the big things for people. And especially if you're a busy person. If you've got stuff on, you don't have an extreme amount of time to obsess over your health and fitness. So if you could get this much, so this is 100%, if you could get this much of the result using this much of the time versus this much, it's logically what you would look at doing, right? Don't make it hard on yourself. The biggest things that contribute to that, or the biggest thing, is being in a consistent and sustainable calorie deficit. Anybody who tells you different has no idea what they're talking about. Turn and run the other way, right? You need to be in a calorie deficit. You cannot defy the laws of thermodynamics. And what that means is, I've drawn a crappy little diagram here, I'll draw it a little bit better, is that the amount of calories that you bring into your body each day needs to be less than the amount we output. The difference between those 2 spaces needs to be made up from somewhere, and stored body fat is a great source of energy we've got on hand to take a chunk, metabolize it, and use it to cover the difference. We do that for long enough, we get the result we want. Now, to produce a calorie deficit, what I recommend that you guys do is start tracking your intake. What you can measure, you can manage. Download MyFitnessPal, it's completely free. Start putting your food in there each day, and you'll start to realize how much is coming into the system. If you just reduce that a little bit, or you just start moving more, you start to create a deficit, okay? Now, it can be a tiny bit more complex than that, but it's only got to be as complex as we're gonna make it. If you just stick in a calorie deficit for long enough, lose a 1/4 kilo a week is 16 kilos a year, 1/2 kilo a week is 32 kilos a year, it's enough, right? It's more than enough for most people. Then a lot of people, if you're a busy person, they try and add in so much stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've got the time and you want to be completely obsessed about this, go your hardest, please. Go and enjoy yourself, dive into things, like let your passion fly and just go and learn everything that you can, absorb that information like a sponge. We have plenty of members like that. We've also got plenty of members like I was, right, that know that their health and fitness is important to them, but have other priorities like business or family or their relationship or their career, whatever it is, and they know that they have to work together. For too long, right, they prioritize one and not the other, and it can't go back the other way. If you guys want to have an extraordinary life where health and fitness is a part of it forever, it's got to be sustainable. It can't be extremely hard. So let's have a look, right? Make a list for yourself today. What are the 20% of your actions right now that are producing 80% of your results? And conversely, what's the 80% of actions that are producing 20%? If you want to do those things, go for your life. But the way I see it, if I stick in a calorie deficit, train 5 times a week, get enough water and get enough sleep, hey, I'm good, and I make plenty of progress. Hope that helps you guys today at home. If you got any questions, drop them below. I'll see you next time.